if you guys remember, a little while ago, Nike unveiled a new shoe. It was a super cool shoe, all right? Something that I haven't really personally seen or thought of before, and lots of people were thinking the same. It's their Nike Go FlyEase. And here, let me show you. You've probably seen this before. People were going crazy about it. People were going crazy about this shoe. You don't have to, it's like the perfect blend between the shoe that you just slip on, like a slide, but it has the security of a normal sneaker, and you don't have to use your hands at all. And it's great for people who have dexterity problems, for people who have problems putting on their shoes, and for people who just like to not use laces. And not only that, they're a part of an entire series of shoes that Nike was releasing. Fast forward to a couple of days ago, where the release date of these shoes came out. And boy, did they come out. But the problem was the people that really needed them weren't able to get them. Let's listen to someone talk about that real quick.
Nike made hands-free sneakers called Nike Go FlyEase. The shoe is built with a unique...
Do you guys want to know a really fun fact about this shoe? The shoe itself has been so hyped up and praised for its inclusiveness and its accessibility for people like myself with a disability that it's became limited, and resellers and bots have got a hold of all the pairs and gouged the price up. Now, if someone with a disability that actually needs the shoe for the design purpose wants it, they're gonna have to pay on the up end of $500 to get it. Talk about accessibility, am I right? I think this is the part where I'm supposed to say something about capitalism and how our materialistic ways have negatively affected society. So, yes.
So yes, indeed. We talk about scalpers every once in a while. We talk about resellers on every once in a while. I am myself a reseller. I love reselling things. It's super cool. I get clothes, I sell them, I buy clothes from resellers a lot of the times. But the resale market has gone too far this time. It's gone way too far this time. This is way over finding Tommy Hilfiger jackets in your local Goodwill and then selling them for $50 on Grailed. This has gone way beyond selling just regular hype shoes. This is a shoe that in its core, that to its core was for disabled people. And they were left out of being able to purchase these shoes. And another big problem is they were even left out of the marketing of these shoes. We can touch on that in a second. But before we get to that, I want to show you guys some of the actual prices of these shoes right now. All right. So I just typed this into Google really quick. Google. Let's take a look at some of these sick prices. $1,023, $366 on StockX, $500 on GOAT, $575 on StockX for size 10, size 6 on Flight Club is $643 on GOAT, size 6 is $643 as well. On StockX, a size 9 is $525, and on StockX again, size 8 is $419. $400, $500, $600, $700, $1,000 for pure black Nike Go FlyEase. Ooh, now that's a spicy price right there. The shoe game is really fun. It's super cool to be able to get shoes and sell them and be able to flaunt them and wear them, be able to resell them again. Limited shoes, that's a really cool thing. I love limited stuff. It's super cool. I like it when I can get really cool stuff that nobody else has. The problem is those things are not clothes that people need. Lots of these clothes are designer clothes. They're wants, they're splurges. Oh, hey, listen, I've been tightening my belt for the last couple of months. Let me splash on $150 for a new pair of shoes that I've been looking for months now. That sounds really cool. The difference with these shoes is that these shoes are specifically made, targeted towards, and are accessible and add so much accessibility for disabled people. And now they're just being ratcheted up to a price that no one can even imagine. All right. And it's incredibly sad because not only with this person who may need help being able to put on their shoes sometimes, if you go through these 5,683 quote tweets after you filter past the resellers being like, how about you get disability to get this bread, before you after you scroll past people making jokes like that, you'll hear short stories about people who are like, my dad suffered a stroke and his dexterity in his hands have gone really far down, and I really wanted to surprise him with a pair of these shoes to help him be able to put them on. He thought they were super cool, but the second that they went live on the 30th, they were instantly gone. You refresh the page, gone. People set up bots. People had 20 tabs open. People are like, had like 12 phones and 3 computer monitors trying to pick up all the shoes, and they just gathered them all up and quadrupled, 6-time increased the price, sometimes even 10-time increased the price from the normal $125, which is already a reasonably expensive shoe, to something that's completely unaffordable for anyone for the vast majority of people, and the vast majority of people who would actually need them. It really sucks. And Nike, I don't want to put all of the blame on just the resellers, because Nike has a reason to play in this. They did not market this shoe for disabled people necessarily. And they came out with an original limited release. This was a limited release. This wasn't supposed to be a full release. Now, I know it takes time and it takes money and it takes testing to know if a shoe is going to work. So just releasing just a pure, just like straight up batch to see if they sell at all I think that's perfectly reasonable. But the problem is they didn't let people know who this shoe was actually targeted for. In the bedrock, in the soul of these shoes, haha, funny joke. In the soul of these shoes, disabled people were in mind. But every time you listen to Nike talk about these shoes, you don't see disabled people included much at all. Now, visibly disabled people, I would like to stipulate that. You don't see visibly disabled people be included a lot. You don't know what someone's disability is always just by looking at them. But in the ad on their website, just a little, you can take a look at all the lines of shoe in this whole line of shoes that are supposed to be more accessible in the FlyEase section. You don't see too many people who are visibly disabled, which sometimes lots of the people who need these types of shoes are. And I mean, I'm going to say good on Nike for at least a little bit. They ripped this shit right off the shelves super quick. Here's the FlyEase right here. You can't buy it. It says coming soon, because after they realized that people were reselling this on StockX for $1,000 and no disabled people are getting it, and they're getting like their mentions flooded with people being like, you use disabled people to just sell shoes while not making sure that none of them get any money. It's kind of a really bad look. It's a real bad look for them. So they pulled it off the shelves to make sure that, hey, listen, we're gonna make sure that we're gonna make this right. And they did set aside an allotment of shoes for disabled people. I believe they said something that you can message them, you can let them know, and they'll make sure that you can put in a pre-order to make sure that you can get these shoes. That's a really big problem in our society with things like this, with products, consumables like this. They go to people who want them, not to people who need them. And I talked a little bit about the marketing of this shoe and how they didn't really include disabled people that much at all, even though it's at the core fundamental of why the shoe was even made. And I want to read this little article from Slate that goes over a little bit of that. The marketing of this shoe created ripe conditions for what disabled writers and design activist Alex Haggard describes as the hashtag peeled orange phenomenon, a device that's widely derided by abled people as a needless technological frivolity, but desired by disabled people. These products are designed to create access for disabled people, but the marketing often erases the disability. So lots of people would be like, hey, this, you've probably seen something like this, or maybe like an automatic can opener or something. Well, you may not need something like that as, an able-bodied person. You crack that bitch open with your bare hands because we're so strong. Some people with disabilities or older people, it's really hard for them to do those sorts of things. And while you can like pull the dangerous like torture machine looking can opener from your drawer under the 57 broken spatulas that you keep around and you haven't gotten around to throwing away yet, to open up your can of peeled tomatoes when you decide to splurge a little bit and pretend that you're Italian and make some pasta that night. It's something that you don't really need or want or think of, but for disabled people, it's something that they really need. Let's go on a little further. Nike itself failed to acknowledge its own story about the origin roots of the FlyEase. In 2008, innovative designer Toby Hatfield created an accessible shoe for executive Jeff Johnson after a stroke left Johnson with limited dexterity. The custom pair featured 2 pieces of hinged Velcro around the instep and the heel, and it was intended as a temporary solution during his recovery. Hatfield then turned his focus on flexible sole platforms, the Nike Free, and performance prosthetics for Paralympic athletes. Then in 2012, Nike CEO Mark Parker shared with Hatfield a letter from a teenager, Matthew Walzer, who had cerebral palsy and wanted a laceless athletic shoe with ankle support that was easy for him to slip on. And that's where the shoe, the FlyEase Go, came about. That's the origin story. Disabled people were a part of the manufacturing, the ideas, the innovation of the shoe every step of the way. But disabled people were kind of cast aside once the shoe actually came to market, and they weren't part of the process. And not only were they left out of the process of the shoe coming to be, they're also left out of the process of the shoe even coming to market at all. It's really unfortunate that these sorts of things happen, that disabled people are left out again when they need these sorts of things, and we want them to have these sorts of things. They should be able to live just as free and fulfilling lives as any able-bodied person, and these products allow them to get that done. But sadly, companies do not think it's as profitable to have disabled people at the forefront of their marketing campaign pushes, and so they're left out. And so once again, disabled people are left on the back burner when it comes to these products that they need. I'm sorry, not too many people can spend $1,000 on a single pair of shoes. We're not really like that. Scalpers, listen, I don't want to say that resellers are all going to hell and that scalpers, there's a cute little place in hell for them when they're done with this world. For the things that they're doing now. But I got to tell you, some of them got to really rethink the things that they're doing when this accessibility shoe is now off the market and Nike needs to start producing more and actually having to basically hand deliver it to disabled people to make sure that they can get this product that was made with them in mind. Just do better, y'all. Let's be completely honest. This is ridiculous.